So, um, I don't know how to move something I've lassoed in this program. And I realize that the eye is really far away. Hello. The most wall-eyed motherfucker I've ever drawn. Hello. So a couple things before we start properly. First of all, I said I was bad in the title. You can't judge me. Second of all, I legit have not drawn in like a year. And I wasn't very good when I drew. And painted and shit before that. Thirdly, I'm using Krita, which I have never used before. I usually use Clip Studio, but I haven't reinstalled it on this PC, and frankly, they're kind of scummy with their business strategy right now, and I don't like it. So I figured I'd try Krita. But I have no idea what I'm doing. But I figured today we would do some very simple foundation work. Just as a one-off thing. I don't really see myself doing this regularly. Possibly never even again, but we'll see. But first things first, I gotta figure out how to move shit using this. Oh no, that's just moving that around. Ooh. I don't want to do that. Can I undo that? Ooh, there we go. That's probably back to normal, right? Yeah, close enough. It's a little off from my workspace. So I have a drawing tablet, the XP Pen Art Deco 1V something. And I have it vertically at the moment because that's what I was drawing in. How do I move something that I've cropped? Or that I've lassoed? Do I have to use the mover layer? I do. Okay. Well, that's going to be annoying because I don't have that hotkeyed. No, we do. I can redo a race because I have a transparency palette that does the exact same thing. So I could change a race to whatever move layer is. What is it? K? There we go. Now this will let me move shit around, which is cool. And if I want to change all this, I've got this here. So yeah, I figured I'd just do some very basic foundational work. And then towards the end, I'll try to draw a skull. Which I'm sure will go great. I do have some Pinterest references for skulls up. So if I need it, I've got it. And I will need it, because reference is important. And then, yeah, that'll be kind of the end of it. I don't plan on going particularly long today. It's a very tiring day for me. It's very warm where I am right now. And my room is ever warmer. So we'll just start with the basic fundamentals. I'm gonna hide this fella. And I'm just gonna get back to grips with the drawing in general. Starting with just some basic shapes. It's been a while. Since I've done basically any drawing. Like I said, it's been about a year. I haven't even like doodled in that time, which is kind of crazy to think about. Just to match, so like that. Because it seems like doodling is kind of the best way to keep your skills sharp. Even if you don't typically draw all that often, you can kind of keep what you do know by just doodling. And slowly learn a couple new things too. It's usually about keeping what you know. How do I want this shape to look? There you go, kind of like that. I'll like cut it off here, maybe. I don't know. I think like a book. Not how books look. Good enough. Brochure now. Another thing is circles that I hear about doing, just repeatedly, just doing circles. Because that helps you sort of with like coordination. And then we can get onto like complicated shapes. Let's not get ahead of ourselves though. I think they say it's like split your circle. If I'm doing that, I want this to be shaded, right? On one side. I guess I could shade this too. It's like the further away from the light and all that. If the light was coming in from like this angle or something. Oh, they do the A method, right, for that. It's like, there's your light. Whoop, slid off my stand. But yeah, I figured just do some basic shapies. just to kind of get an idea. Again, get back into the rhythm. A bit of a folded page or something. Maybe it's a saddle. This is what a saddle looks like, right? I don't know. What angle are we at? This would be like this. I don't know. Hard to draw a saddle from memory when you've only ever really seen a saddle like 3 times in your life in real life. Let's go back to just some basic shapes. Like this, right? And then this would like come down here. And close off this. Just stack bits on top of each other. This doesn't quite work, does it? There you go. That makes a little bit more sense. Let's do with me a little bit. And this would just kind of come across to there. This is a fun little exercise. Just stacking shapes. Even though I'm just doing the really rudimentary, like, cuboid shit right now, because I'm bad. It's a good little practice. You can kind of complicate things a little bit. Somehow. If you were better. I don't know where I'd be going with that. I plan on grabbing like a physical sketchbook next time I'm in the area of a hobby store. This would probably match, right? Another one I hear a lot about is just straight lines. I'm trying not to like overlap the lines and keep them fairly straight and evenly spaced. This is something that I probably should do a lot more of, especially when getting used to this tablet again and this new program. There's also the S curve thing where you draw sort of a curved line and you try to match it without overlapping. But I'm again bad at coordinating. So that's gonna take some serious practice. It also helps the like consistency, and also kind of already looks like hair a little bit. Just like chip in a little bit and turn it into hair, probably. If you're better, that is, than me. But I figured I'd do this because one, I wanted an excuse to practice, and I just cannot seem to motivate myself right now, and this seemed like a good way to motivate myself. But also, there are so many good artists on Twitter. Oh, Twitter? Fucking what? On Twitch? I don't know where Twitter came from. There's nothing good on Twitter anymore. Thing's a bomb site. But there are so many good artists on Twitch that I felt like I needed to even the playing field a little bit, balance things out by just being really bad. So people who also aren't confident in their work can kind of have a place to come and either feel way more confident when they are better than me, or improve alongside me if they want to. You know? But I digress. Still think doing it this way is a good way to sort of force myself to practice. And once you start, that's like the big hurdle for me, is just kind of starting. As with everything I do, that first step is always, no matter how small a step it is, it still takes so much energy for me to take that step that I can never just like justify doing it to myself. Even though at the end of the day, it's like nothing. It's, it's really the stupidest thing to be like, nah, I don't really want to put the effort into this, but I want to be good instead. I just want to be good already. But that shit ain't how it works, so here I am. Just doodling away. I feel like this is the sort of thing I can just do for hours once I'm in the groove. But getting in that groove is like the problem. You know? I feel like I'd already be better if I just sort of got on with it. Instead of trying to find some reason why I can't. I feel like a lot of people get that feeling too. Sort of not really knowing where to start. So you just kind of don't start. And then you quickly like give up. Because you have no idea where to go from here. But once you get going, it's not nearly as daunting as it sounds. And you're never going to get a one-to-one to whatever you're working to. Especially if you're like doing reference studies and stuff like that. Like you're never going to get it spot on. Because the way you work is going to be different to the way the person you're studying from works, or, you know, the real life works. It's going to be different to how your brain rationalizes putting it into paper. And that's fine. That's good, in fact. That's what differentiates a lot of artificial stuff from real stuff. And if you decide you want to deviate from the reference, deviate from the damn reference. Who cares? It's your art piece. It's your study. No one's going to sit there and go, this isn't exactly what I was looking at 6 minutes ago. You'll still get there. You'll still get to where you want to be. You'll still have that understanding in the end. And you'll still notice where you've gone wrong. For example, with this leggy here that I'm sketching out, it's very disjointed. I feel like it should come in faster here than it does. That's kind of the beauty of a lot of this stuff. Like, here, let me show you the ref. Oh, never mind it. Refresh my page. Well, I was going to show you what reference I was working from on Pinterest, but it decided to add new ones to my home before I could open the page, so I guess I cannot, because it's not here anymore. Alright, whatever. But it looks nothing like what I've made, obviously. Like, even in terms of its shape, there are things that are inconsistent. Like this leg being way smaller than this leg. Proportions are something I desperately need to work on. I'm not very good at them. But let's go ahead. I think 30 minutes is a pretty good sort of warm-up. Will this just work? Yeah. And then move the layer. So what I like to do to start off with is redline to get the general shape. Now, I don't want to zoom in because that will fuck up my canvas. Whoops. Can I stretch you out? Yes, I can make you bigger. Okay. There we go, that seems good. So what I'll do is I'll redline. I'll take a relatively chunky brush. And again, I'm not a tutor. This is just what I do. Where is a chunky brushing critter I don't use? Yeah, I'll just make this one bigger. Well, do it with my mouse because that goes off my canvas. Make it like 30. That's probably good. Why not? Yeah, that's good. And I'll just kind of rough out the shapes. I'm not going to completely trace it, but I'm going to get sort of the... This would be a cheek. It would come in here, come back out. This would be sort of the dome. Try to break it down into much easier to digest pieces. Because this would be sort of the big forehead bit where this recedes back into the rest of the head. So I want to separate that from the rest of the skull. I just go back to the edge here and bring it down. And then that'll sort of just taper off into here. I don't really know how I want to taper that off to show that it's behind that. But besides that, we'll go in with a very simple sort of, again, just shapes. Sort of figure out the shape. This is quite domed. I'll just crease back in. Something that I cannot stress enough that I learned that's very valuable is using your whole damn arm. If I'm just using my wrist, I'm like this. But if I'm using my whole arm, I can get so much more fluid movements. Like this is just my wrist, and then this is my whole arm. It's just better. It just feels better. It's better for your physical health. But yeah, back into the skull. This kind of becomes the jawline. And I'm thinking about how this would kind of pull into this bottom lip like area. And that would be kind of the disconnect. That's how I get kind of the general shape. And then because this is just shapes again, just come in here, then think about where this stops being higher up. And it sort of dips in here. There's this kind of general hexagonal shape that this creates. It's obviously a lot more rounded, but it still creates that similar kind of hexagonal spectacles. And then this here is kind of the bridge, and it kind of goes like this. Or it, you know, snaps off, and you'd have sort of nose here. But we're focusing on the skull, so this sort of ducks in, so I'm just going to make a thinner line to represent that. And that's kind of your general shape of your skull. Let's move this layer across. It doesn't look like much, and I'd probably go in with some more details around here, which I think I'll do actually. I think I'll mark out the sort of structure a little bit here. And probably the teeth. Yeah, that's kind of a skull. I wish there was a way to just reset the view there, but yeah, then after that I'll probably go in and oh, yep, we're a little off kilter now. That's okay. But I'll go in and try to sort of mimic those shapes, starting with the big ones, which are this part of the skull. And this comes out to make those cheekbones that come in like this. Obviously way sharper than they normally would. And this comes down. This comes down. This sort of creates the that part. Then you got sort of the nose piece here. Whatever that's called. Also, study anatomy. You've got the eyes. This is clearly way too thin, I think. This sort of comes up here. This creates the brow. Little kind of ridge here like this. I think this is too short, maybe. I'll tell you what is wrong, though. This is definitely way too... Yeah, because this kind of starts up here. Yeah, this is way off. Way off. Yeah, that's... But that's good. Now I know. Now I'm seeing where I'm going wrong. Let's see... Start with the eyes and go from there, shall we? Actually, let's start with... This goes across here, this comes down. Let's do some guidelines. This is where this becomes... No, that doesn't quite work. So how do I want to approach this? I can trace it a couple more times. See where that gets me. Let's do that. So this time we will start with the eyes. Sharpen that up so that it reads better for me. And we're going with kind of that nose. We want to look at the space, like the negative space too, between the things we're looking at. And come out to here. Close off this dome a little bit. See if we can do it in one stroke. This is a good chance to practice my general dexterity, is to just like do it all in one line. Yeah, that's good enough. We'll just connect these two bits back here. Noticing this kind of follows the S pattern a little bit. So that's coming along a little bit better. Maybe so I don't get confused, I should mark off where these teeth are. This is kind of a general reminder. Yeah. It's a good way to do shapes, I feel like. I'm gonna go ahead and do another trace. And then I'm gonna try to draw it without tracing it, just by looking at it. So I'm gonna get a general idea of the shapes. Get a sort of shorthand going for a skull. Because really, once you know how to draw the skull, you can kind of figure out where the bits go on the face. And then you only really need the shorthand for a skull. Let's see if I can do this in one arc again. I doubt it, but... Nope. That's close enough. Also, hello Helen, how are you? And this is kind of the bits, and this comes around. This here is teeth. This is the jaw. Okay. So you can already see there's a difference. Even with the kind of tracing. Let's give it a go without tracing. Start with the eyes. Again, thinking about the space between these eyes is what I'm looking for. I think I've got pretty much down if I go in from here. And then down, a little bit back up, and then back up. This is a little bit angled, but we'll work with that. Why not? There's not a huge gap between these two. I think I want to start quite high up and then come down this way. Kind of drawing this at a wonky angle now. But I've kind of committed. So we got this sort of shape comes up to this. This kind of comes down and out from about this spot here, that then becomes cheek. The cheek kind of curves around to this middle-ish section before coming down into the mouth. This is way off already. I can I can already see how off this is. But that's all part of the process. I feel like this goes... Yeah, this kind of angles way more before it becomes cheek. And then it kind of comes in like this. It becomes cheek a lot, sort of between this point, a lot faster than I think when I look at it. And then this kind of becomes jawline. This is so off. I can already see how off it is. Let's have a look. Yeah. It is so squiff. Should have done this in red as well so I can compare, but I don't know how to change it in this program because I decided I would just use Krita for now. Which one did I make eyedropper? Not that one. Not that one. Did I set up eyedropper? Oh, it's on my thing. Hold up. Let's do a little bit of color theory. What's this? I don't know what brush this is. I don't know what any of these brushes are. It's kind of mid-tone, I guess. Yeah, that'll do. So something I notice about all of these, it's that the lighter something is, the less saturated it is in its local value. Can I get this in a square? I guess not. So let's see. If I just kind of paint this in. Should have put my stream deck closer. This was the dark, so if I just go in here and here. And then mid-tone. And sort of here. And sort of here. And then slap mid-tone in here. And sort of here-ish. This in a little bit. This in a little bit. This kind of already starts reading skull. I'm just fucking about now. I've like stopped paying. Like it's not lesson time anymore. I'm just kind of playing around with stuff. Move my stream deck over. Well, that's kind of what art is, right? You just have fun. Just mess around, have fun, create something. If it goes well, great. If it doesn't, great. There's no commitments until you're like doing it professionally for a commission, and then there's some commitments, but there's not a lot of commitments. Yeah, warm-up sketches are good. Warm-up sketches, increasing your how people stretch for working out. Exactly. I think I see where I've gone wrong here. Oops. I think I'm supposed to go in and then, yeah, there we go. And that goes in and back out. Obviously, I'm still very much in the learning phase. I haven't drawn in over a year. I haven't painted in over a year. I haven't really done much of anything in over a year, art-wise. I haven't even made emotes. So this needs to go like this. So that's that dark patch there. This comes in. This would be teeth. And, I could probably spend several hours refining this into something that looks more like a skull. I could do blend. I could clean up some of the shapes. Use more colors. For example, I could throw this in somewhere. Sort of add this in places. Create a slightly more indented look. Give it more depth. Pretty skull shape so far. Thank you. If I were throwing this in like a background while I'm fighting Creeper or Citra, so I can make political borders on a map. Citra, huh? Yeah, if I were like using this as part of a background piece, from here, this is a skull. There's all the Photoshop tools and it's free too. Ah. I'll have to look into that. I might start using that for thumbnails. Because while I have Clip Studio, their business model is garbage. So I just haven't reinstalled it since I upgraded my rig and formatted all my drives and stuff. Yeah, if I were using this in the background, that's a skull. That would read as a skull. It would do all the things it needs to do. But obviously, if I'm doing character art, I'm going to be like a lot closer up. I'm going to want more detail. Of course, I've now completely fucked up my canvas. Where are we? This is the edge. This is the edge. Okay. all the way across. Yeah, we're good. I wonder if Krita has like a blend brush more designed for blending. So I feel like if I'm doing the slightly askew look, I should lean into that a little more and maybe like cut back on this a little more and make this the more predominant side. It does. I'll have to figure out what that is. Let's go ahead and add some highlight here. Parts that are more visible. I guess just the regular brush blends pretty well. If we're looking at it like that. I think understanding shapes and lighting really helps with stuff like this. So I think I'll probably practice just some general grayscale shading on like objects using some real life studies. I definitely want to get a sketchbook soon. TM. Because I think I'll be able to I want to be able to like go out, especially since it's summer. Like I want to be able to go out into the forest and go on, just walks and stuff, and like enjoy the sights and paint some stuff and get better at painting. Because I think while there is a huge difference painting traditional compared to digital, there's a lot of transferable skills that I feel like I ought to know and practice. It'll be a good way to keep me practicing without feeling bogged down by like having to be sat at a computer for ages. Introduce some shadow here on this side. And then bring it back with this mid-tone. I didn't save that highlight tone. Whoops. A little hard on that mid-tone. Not a big fan of how this inner jaw is looking. Let's fix that up a little bit. I think it's because of this. That looks a bit better. Gonna introduce the reason this guy's a skeleton now by caving his skull in a little bit. Which is gonna create a new shadow. And I'm gonna map out this highlight color so I don't keep losing it. This new little highlight here. And we're gonna pull back some of this other highlight here. I think it's a little too much. Just a little bit of head shine. That maybe? Let's just do that whole bit again. Let's have it a little closer to this edge instead. There you go, that knocks that back a little bit more. Gives a little depth to the hole in his head. I do want to blend some of this a little bit. Let's get some of that mid-tone. Let's sort of push it up into that dark spot, and then fight back a little bit with the dark. Same here, fight back just a little bit. I know that with painting, you typically go like darker to lighter. But digitally, typically you can kind of get away with, this is too aggressive. Way too aggressive. There we go. It's a little more like it. Typically with digital painting, you want to go mid-tones first. And then introduce shadow and light. I've kind of jumped around all over the place. But that's fine. This is just a doodle. This isn't commitment. I feel like I want to bring this out further. It's like cheekbone. Same with this one. bring it lower down. Yeah, that's looking a little bit better. Felt like the gums were a little too tall, too long. But, you know, as far as skulls go, I'd say that's pretty good. And if we scale it up, that's kind of overlapping. I think we'll find I got most of the bits in the right place. Just a little low on the nose. Obviously the angle's a little weird. So that's something I should work on. But that's okay. I don't hate that. Especially seeing as it's the first time I've drawn in over a year. I'm pretty happy with that. Doesn't look too bad. I should look into getting a vertical stand for this tablet too. Because the way it is now, if I press down too hard at the top of my canvas, I like lift it out of its out of its rest. Because it's designed to be, 16 by 9 instead of the way I have it. I reckon can I group these? Yes. Oh, what did I just do? Oh, I gotta take my meds. My vitamin D supplements because I have a deficiency. Another reason why I want to get a sketchbook and go out more during the summer is so I can fix that. But they're easy enough to swallow. But we can pull some gesture stuff up. We could also just do an anatomy study where we focus on just one part, but I feel like that's easier with nude models. And I don't think I can show that on Twitch. I think they redacted their artistic nudity rule because they weren't clear on it, so people abused it. We can just pull one up from a Dorcas stock. Let's do that. I'm going to reach behind the tablet to get to my keyboard, so it's taking me forever. Find something simple to start with because I'm bad. Let's go with this guy. I guess say this person because I don't know the pronouns. Let's go with this person. Oh, that's tiny. Hello. Oh, forgot that doesn't automatically scale. Okay. So we're going to start off by tracing because that's a good way to learn and no one should tell you you can't trace. But we're going to look at just the general shapes again. This is kind of a head shape. Let's try to make it match, right? That's the whole point of the trace. Let's go this kind of head shape. Eyebrows, center line, oops, bottom of the nose, bottom of the mouth, here, here. Then the neck, a lot of people go to cylinder for neck, and that kind of works. We go for like teardrop for the shoulder. I guess the arms. I don't know. I think we go rib cage next, which I think is like here on him. Then it comes up. The rib cage goes down really low, doesn't it? Like here, before it comes back up. You can kind of see it here. It comes across here. This is kind of like the hips. This kind of leads into pelvis. Kind of like this. That is pelvis. The holes are like here and here, right? Roughly. And then this is kind of the leg. Kind of on a ball joint. I think. Something around there. This is all from like what I remember from anatomy back in like secondary school. So this is going off very ancient knowledge, given that I'm 26 now and haven't been in school for too long. Not too long, actually, never too long. I redact that statement. I do not miss school. This comes out into shoulder. It kind of comes in like this. And then it's kind of like an overlapping bread. Obviously, I'm not going for like super realistic here. I just want to get to know the general shapes that these parts are going to make. Because I'm going to break these down even simpler eventually. But for now... Because I need to like learn all this so I can reduce it into a shorthand that I can then build off of again later. Seems like this is kind of the shape the torso is making. And this is like abdomen. I feel like as soon as I come away from this, I'm not going to have any idea of what I'm doing or what I have done. But I definitely think going piece by piece and then building up the proportions may be a good idea. I think lining things up probably would help me a lot more. Let's go again. Let's do very shorthand this time. Sort of spine into this sort of pelvis. There's this. That comes into this. Into this. And then it's kind of rib cage. Whoops. Shapes up into this. Cylinder neck. This sort of conical shape that leads into leads into that sort of forearm, and this leads into this sort of elbow down. I'm actually noticing something that I don't think I noticed when I first did gesture drawing. It's that this doesn't connect all the way. Because there's this like back muscle here. That's sort of disconnected. Well, not disconnected, but like separated by this muscle group. I definitely think I should go away and learn. Yeah, learning anatomy. Just sort of observing, taking in this detail instead of just sketching over it and moving on. Let's see if we can not necessarily identify, but separate muscle groups a little bit here. This leads into this. This is like a separate. This is separate. This here. This is like the pec. That is way too frequent. I need to turn on the frequency of that coffee thing. This image isn't a very good example of it, but there's like the general rule of flex and relax, or flex and stretch rather, where if this muscle were flexed, this one would relax or stretch, sorry. As you sort of close in, this would stretch out. So I know a decent amount of theory. A lot of that's been retained. I think a lot of it is just putting it into practice and observation that is my struggle at the moment. Which is really weird given that when I was at school, I had the opposite problem where I couldn't really explain the theory very well, but I was really good at just doing it and getting it over with. Which I guess is kind of growth, if you think about it. Because now if I can apply that theory and focus on the practical again, I'm a lot more well-rounded in my ability. The stomach, I think, is going to be my biggest issue when it comes to anatomy. Because there's a lot that goes into that. You've got your whole freaking rib cage. I'm pretty sure on this guy is like this. His angle. Because this arm's raised more than this arm. He's got a bit of a lean going. But here's some stomach. Judging by the shadows, I would say this is another bit here. And then this. This is another bit. This obviously. This. Is where the abs are, or like a pair of abs. I don't. I don't know how to categorize the abdomen, because you've got like the musculature of the abs, right? And you get like a six-pack or whatever where they're really well defined. Abs are abs. Yeah, but like is it just first, second, and third row of abs? And when you haven't defined that muscle, are they just one blob? So I've got a fat belly. I need to work out. Are the 6 abdomen muscles are they still underneath that? At least 800 muscles in the human body. I know that eventually we simplify. But the thing is, I have to get into the weeds of it a little bit. Like, I'm not going to go through every single one of these muscles. I'm going to learn where they are and how they interact as the arms move in different places. But I'm not going to get bogged down by all that detail. But I do need to know about abs. I guess I could just say, like, if they have a six-pack, it's the first, second, and third row of abs. And then this would be like, oops. And then this would be like the pecs. Obviously, this is extremely rough, but you get the point. Like, if I want to decide how much definition, it's like either the six-pack is there or it's just stomach. But honestly, that placement wasn't too bad. Yeah, I'm gonna keep that in there. Well, those bits can go. That's the important part. Ads are starting again already. I swear we just had ads. Is that really over an hour ago already? It's only supposed to play 3 minutes of ads every hour. So how am I already out of snoozes? You've been streaming for an hour and 38 minutes. Damn. This is what I was talking about at the start. Once I get into it, I just kind of go. But it's that first step that I just always, no matter how small, struggle to put myself into. Noelle had constantly suggested that I stream it to push myself to practice more. And for the longest time, I was like, nah, that's a terrible idea. I'm not. You have to be a certain level of good already to stream art, I feel like. But I already had everything set up, so I was like, fuck it. I'll stream art. I'll practice. Took me forever to find my tablet and the pen again because I'd put them away. So I was like, I'm not going to be doing this for a while. So I wanted to get the value out of my time, as it were. But I think one of the major things I've got to look at is this kind of pelvis muscle group as well, and how the like legs connect and move together. So that's probably something I'll look into. So let's list out some priorities. Priority 1, 2, 3. Face anatomy. Muscle groups. My handwriting shit, you'll have to forgive me. And then 3 will be individual body studies. Not that I'm keeping most of this. I'll probably forget, but writing it down first helps me remember just off the top of my head. Then 4 and 5. Gesture. And then render. Actually, gesture. And then gesture. Sketch. And then render. It's undecipherable towards the end. So basic anatomy, the muscle groups, individual body part studies like arms, hands, legs, sort of torso, pelvis joint, shit like that. Then gesture drawing to get the vibe, I guess, the vibe, to get an idea of how they all move. And then sketching out body, and then rendering the body. I'll probably make this the rest of the year as sort of how long I'm going to let this take me. So I feel like if I give myself too short of a goal, like, I'll do this in 3 months, I'm going to fail because I'm going to be worrying about it too much. So by the end of the year, I want to be able to, at the very least, sketch. And then this is extra credit. If I can render by the end of the year, I'll be very, very pleased. Another thing is having a couple of things that I could be working on at a time. So headshots. You have to draw the anatomy of a monster on a monster. That would be... I should do monsters and like animals too, because a lot of the things I want to illustrate are creatures that I make for like Pathfinder / D&D and character portraits. And then sort of as a side thing, I want to be able to do establishing shots for locations in Pathfinder / D&D. Kind of my overall goal as an artist is to be able to supplement my tabletop games with artwork that I have made. Photo bashing is a fantastic tool. Absolutely, as a concept artist and a environmental designer, photo bashing is incredible. A lot of commercial photo bashing requires either stock imagery that you have that your company has the license for, or taking your own photographs and using those. Photo bashing is something I should, when I come to do establishing shots, I think starting with photo bashing and then let's pull up an example. Actually, no, I don't need to. This is all on this. I'll just group these. and hide it. This is going to look weird because it's on a vertical thing. But if I just get like a too complicated. Let's go with landscape. Yeah, this will be. It's gonna look really not quite right because of the canvas, but one of the major things, just what I'm working with, as far as world map, I will have a look in a minute. But what I mean by stuff like this is, let's, oops, what was the move layer button? This one, fuck it, okay. Blocking out the various sort of colors and the shapes. So say you've already done the photo bashing. That's a bad example because these values are weirdly the same. I guess I could get this. But you would sort of block out the shapes. So this is our canvas here. Oops. There's a gap. But yeah, you'd like block out the shapes in one solid color. I'm not going to fully do this. And that would sort of give you the like very beginning. I need a faster way to increase my brush size. So this brush is definitely not the right brush for, for what I'm doing. But oh well. But you would like block out the shapes and then start adding detail bit by bit by bit. And that's something I need to work on as well, is blocking out those shapes and not jumping straight into the detail. Because I have a terrible habit of trying to just paint this tiny chunk in really high detail, and then I zoom out and I'm like, whoops, I haven't done any of the rest of the piece, and now I'm tired. But yeah, photo bashing is a huge deal. I'll be using it a lot in my personal works, for sure. And obviously, eventually I will... That's a good-looking world map so far. Eventually I will If I'm doing anything commercial, I will go out and take pictures myself. Just so that I have the not stability. What's the word I'm looking for? The legal. I don't have to worry about being reprimanded legally. I can't remember the word I'm looking for. Yeah. Photo bashing is good. Blocking it out is very, very good. And then building up the detail as you go instead of starting with detail. All things I have to remember to do. And sort of build into my brain, into my repertoire, because I have a bad habit of jumping straight into detail and being like, I want to get this looking good in an hour. And that's never going to happen. Well, it might happen one day. I might find a really good workflow, but for the first like 5 years of taking this shit seriously again, that's not happening. But if I can get good enough, I can sell art. As well as making it for fun. And then I don't have to worry so much about my bills. But yeah, we've been going almost 2 hours, which is quite surprising. I wasn't expecting to go this long. I thought I'd do like an hour and then call it, get discouraged, and move on. But yeah, I'm probably going to head out. I think this is a pretty good length. I need to, whoops, I need to find some of these VODs that I've saved and try to remember what order they were all in and stitch some stuff together. I mean, maybe I just accept that some of the VODs are gone, because some of them were absolute disasters. You can just call it a chunk missing from the archives. And start again with this one. Then tomorrow being Tuesday, we're gonna do some more Skyrim. Maybe even finish the Butterfingers saga, because I remade the mod, so everything should be working now. But yeah, that's gonna just about wrap it up. I'm probably gonna play around a bunch more in Krita, so I can kind of get used to it. Probably gonna move the canvas area, just set it back to being flat, and cover the whole screen so I can get to all my menus and shit. But other than that, that's gonna just about wrap it up. Probably should have put some background music on while I was doing this. I realize it's just deadly silent and just me talking. I'll have to sort that out for next time. Maybe I check in with progress every other week or something. Maybe make a Monday stream every other week, doing some artwork. I'll figure out how to work it into my schedule. It's a fucking busy schedule right now. But I never called. The boss called me and left a voicemail. I never called back. Oh well. I'm sure she'll live. But yeah, gonna call it there. Gonna play around with some of these brushes, try to find out what any of these are. I frankly haven't a clue what most of this is. This is obviously a thick pencil, a little charcoal pencil. What does this look like? Oh, I quite like that. Marker brush, ink, pencils. Watercolors, I guess. Just a very wet paintbrush. But yeah, that's There's a lot of brushes here. But yeah, that's gonna wrap it up. For the stream. Hey, here's a blending brush. Anyway, that's gonna do it for the stream. I'm gonna stop playing around with this for a bit and go ahead and chill out, sort out some stuff, maybe watch some YouTube tutorials for art and sort of put into practice some of the things they suggest. Maybe watch some videos and idly do dexterity practice. Stuff like that. But I hope you all had fun. I know it's not the usual stream I would do. I don't think I've ever done an art stream, to my recollection. Maybe once or twice, like 7 years ago. But yeah, it's going to wrap up this stream. I hope you had fun. I know I sure did. And I'll see you all tomorrow for Skyrim, where we will do more of Betty Butterfingers, possibly even finishing it, so I can finish writing that damn script and editing and move on to another smaller project. I'm also going to try to start getting ahead on videos, because right now I'm like editing up like down to the wire. Like I would finish a video on a Saturday and have it go up on a Sunday. So I'll probably try to get a little bit ahead on some project so that I have a little bit of a buffer. But yeah, I'm going to head out. So thanks for coming. Thanks for hanging out. I appreciate it. And I will see you all tomorrow for some Skyrim. Bye.